So now we're going to show you how to put the packing into the pump here. We're going to take a 1/2-inch socket and we're going to loosen the bolts that are down in these ceramic cylinders. Once you get the bolts completely removed, you can take a hammer and then use the end of it to tap gently on the ceramic cylinders themselves. You want to tap them gently just so you don't end up cracking the ceramic. And as you can see, as he tapped on that cylinder, it starts to move. Then you can wiggle it and pull it the whole way out. And we're just going to go ahead and repeat that process for the remaining ceramic cylinders on the head. So as you can see, we've got the 4 ceramic cylinders off. So now we're going to remove the brass packing cup holders, and there's a small O-ring down on there. When you pull them off, you want to make sure you get that O-ring off as well. So you can follow through with the remaining 3 packings, and as you can see, there's a groove where that O-ring sits down in there. So the next thing we're going to do, just like the head, these have a gasket there. You can see the green gasket. We're going to go ahead and remove those gaskets, make sure they're cleaned out completely, just like we did on the spray head itself. So we're going to go ahead and clean that gasket out. So we now have the pump, the gaskets removed and it cleaned up. We also have our ceramic cylinders cleaned up. Now we're going to show you how to take out the packing. Your same 3/8 ratchet that you took, you can just use it and put it up in and pop the packing material out. So as you can see, now we have all 4 ceramic cylinders with the packing removed from them. Now that we got all the packing removed from our ceramic cylinders, we got our rebuild kit. We're going to put new rubber O-rings on the head. Once we get that done, we're going to grease the gaskets like we did before and press them back down on. So a little trick you can use is to use the ceramic cylinder to push that gasket down on, and then you can spin it back and forth as Jimmy's doing there, just to get it to seat down on there. So you're going to repeat that same process for the remaining 3 gaskets. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drop the brass packing holder onto the head. Then we're going to slide our ceramic sleeve down over top of that. And we're going to repeat that for all the remaining 3. So as you can see, we got the brass packing holder and all the ceramic cylinders back on. Now we're going to take the packing and slide that into the ceramic cylinder. You want to make sure that the large hole on the packing is facing up towards you. And then you get 4 new bolts with Loctite on them. You want to make sure you use the new bolts when you go to tighten them back down. So we're just going to repeat that process for the remaining 3 ceramic cylinders. We're going to push that packing down in there. So you can see we're starting to tighten the bolts back down onto the ceramic cylinders. When we go to tighten them down, we want to just make sure they're snug. If we go any tighter, it could split the cross member down in the head. So you just want to get them snug, you can see, as you can see here. When it starts to get snug, give it about a quarter of a turn more, and then you can move on to your next one. So now we're ready to put the head back on to the pump itself. So when you put it on, you want to make sure that the gaskets and the holes on the head line up with the ceramic cylinders on the pump. As you can kind of see, they sit down in the groove underneath the pump there. So as you can see, we've put the bolts back into the head itself to bolt it back down to the pump. When we put them in, we want to make sure that they're lining up with the ceramic cylinders down below. And we're going to start to tighten them down. We're going to go in an alternating fashion here. So we have the bolts down to where they're up against the head. So now we check to make sure that our head's still in line with our ceramic cylinders, and we can go ahead and snug those bolts down. We want to do an alternating pattern here just to make sure that it seats down level the whole way around. So if you do a half a turn on one, do a half a turn on all the rest of them. And once again, you want to be careful when you're tightening these down. You don't want to get them too tight because it could end up cracking down below. So when it gets tight, you want to maybe just give her, like before, a good rule of thumb is a quarter of a turn to a half a turn more. So now we got the head completely tightened down. One thing that we need to stress is that you should always use a 3/8 drive with the 9/16 socket. If you get the 1/2 inch drive on there, you could end up stripping it out down below, and it's going to cause you a lot more heartache in the end. So use a 3/8 ratchet.